Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It's Larry Ward in Columbus, Ohio. And I'll tell you what, I am so excited. I know my voice doesn't sound like me, and that's because, ever since Mark Hughes made those announcements last month in Orlando, the biggest promotions ever in the history of Herbalife, I have been nonstop just talking to everybody I know. So hang in there. It's Larry Ward in Columbus, Ohio, and welcome to our very special Master Success Training call here today. Now, the reason for the name of the call is because each and every one of you have expressed a commitment to work toward qualifying for the brand new program that Mark Hughes just announced in Orlando last month, called the Master Program, the Master Training Program. We're going to be talking about that more on this call. Not only that, but soon thereafter, he announced a very special Millionaire Training Tour that he's going to be conducting this fall. So, as promised, we're bringing you another very special training today by one of the Herbalife's very top President's team members, and I'm so proud to have him on this call. In fact, he was formerly #1 in the entire world of Herbalife, and today you're going to hear him bring you training on special skills that he has mastered so well that earned him over $4 million last year as a distributor. Now, I'm referring to, first of all, we're going to be talking about how to work the calendar every month. How to work the calendar, how to set your goals, and then work in the Herbalife Success Training System with that. And the art of promotion. And nobody understands the art of promotion better than Alan. You also need to listen very, very carefully as he teaches all of us how to properly take advantage and utilize the greatest programs and promotions Herbalife has ever announced. You really need to have in front of you the memos and the Herbalife faxes that they sent out, which outlines the parameters of the programs. Now, if you put into action what you're going to be learning on this call today, you too can set yourself up for financial independence, just like the President's team members on this call today. I'm also referring to not only myself, but we've got International President's team member Bill Heron on the line, and I'm proud to say that he's my upline. He's also going to help us get crystal clear on these programs. Now, here's a man that basically he came into Herbalife and started out just like you and I did, even though he was the #1 distributor for another major company, and it happened to be a weight loss company, by the way. He came into Herbalife, started from scratch, lost over 100 pounds on our products, walked away from a $400,000 a year income. That's right, he was making over $30,000 a month, came into Herbalife to start from scratch like you and I, got a distributor kit, and then you saw him in Orlando last month. He got a bonus. Just his bonus alone was $290,000. That took his income for the last year to over $800,000. Now, not only that, but he's built an incredible, he and his wife Clem together, because they're a team, they built an incredible, one of the top President's team member organizations in the company. I think he has like 7 President's team members now in his organization, 2 of whom are going to be earning over $700,000 this year. I'm one of them, I'm proud to say. And then we've got Frank and Annette Petrocelli, that was one of their President's team members, and they spoke in Orlando. They're going to make over $700,000, but anyway, I'm really proud to introduce my good friend and my upline, International President's team member, Bill Heron.
Thanks, Larry. I tell you, I'm so excited to be on the pre-call and hear everybody calling. So many people's already done 10,000 volume points this month. Some of you may be right on the edge, and we still got the rest of the day. You're going to hear more about that later in the call, how to make sure you get that done and why. And then I heard somebody say 125,000 since Saturday. I heard somebody else say first leg get team. I'm telling you, it's absolutely out of control. I'm at a payphone on the way to Monroe, Louisiana. We got a new group breaking down there, and we're trying to run another 10 or 20,000 through them before the deadline tonight. And it's just so exciting. So as soon as I get through, Larry, I'm going to get off where I'm at a payphone and a truck stop, and I know you'll hear all this background. But this is, it's not many times that you have an opportunity to introduce a real superstar that just isn't somebody you get to introduce. Well, the person I'm going to get to introduce, not only is he a real superstar in a lot of different areas, but he's a very good friend. He and his wife are very, very good friends of Clem and I. I can remember the first time I met Alan. He was taking a look at Herbalife, and he was in Sydney, Australia. So he flew from London, England, to Sydney to take a look. And I thought right then, you know, either this guy's going to really be something, or he's lost his mind. Why would somebody do that? But that just really gave me a little idea of what he's really about. And he went from that first meeting in Sydney to the #1 distributor in all of the world with Herbalife. And that's important, and that's great for he and Carol, but that doesn't really tell you what he is. He's the most help of anybody in Herbalife. If I had somebody anywhere in the world that I wanted them to talk to and get a clear picture, it would be Alan. He helps everybody in Herbalife. He's really a #1 person, not only a #1 distributor. And I remember when Alan got started, he lost 16 pounds the first month. He really got serious about the business. And I had an opportunity, Clem and I, last year before, to go to his 55th birthday celebration in London. And I've been to a lot of parties. With Herbalife, you go to a lot of parties, but this was the party of parties. I never will forget when we went from the first party, the cocktail party, into the main dining room. Clem and I were at the front of the line, and I couldn't believe what a job that Carol had done to put that whole thing together. And what a thrill it was for us to be able, because of the Herbalife opportunity, to fly from Jackson, Mississippi to London, first class, just to go to a birthday party of a friend of ours. Where can you do that? Nothing else in the world would have ever given us the opportunity to do that. The guy's not very organized, I'll tell you that. So he's like me. He's living proof that you don't have to be organized to do this business. But it's unbelievable what he's done. He's got business all over the world. He's one of Mark Hughes' very best friends. He serves on a advisory committee that makes decisions for the company. He represents the voice of the distributors with Mark, and I could just go on and on and on. He's on his way to, just got a bonus for $825,800, and I know who got the $825,000, and I know who got the 800. But $3 million last year, $4 million this year, probably $5.5 million next year. What a pleasure it is for me to introduce my real good friend. What a thrill it is to have. I like to talk about him as Mr. Promotion. You know, the things he does best is promote, and is probably the most important part of this business. So my good friend, I love him a whole lot, and I know you guys do too, the master of promotion, Mr. Alan Lorenz.
Hey, thank you, Bill. Wow, what an introduction. And Bill only made one mistake. It was my 45th birthday, Bill. My 45th.
Yeah, okay, Alan.
Well, actually, it was my 55th. But, you know, nobody believes 55.
Oh, you look 35.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, everybody, I'm so pleased you're spread all over America, and you know, just hearing the cities that you come from was a real thrill. I'm here in Brussels at the moment, in Belgium. You know, it's not the heat wave you've got some places in America, but it's hot over here, and we're in the summer, and all I can tell you is things are on fire in Herbalife, not just the heat wave here, but the Herbalife heat wave. And one of the things that really confirmed that to me was just in an STS that took place in Rome, in Italy, this weekend. And one of my people who's, you know, going for first month president's team, Tiziana, she called me and she said it was unbelievable. 400 people in the seminar. You've got to understand, in Italy, people go to the beach. They do not work during the summer. You know, it's sort of unheard of. And in the early days when we opened Italy, we had to cancel all the meetings throughout the summer. I mean, that just wasn't going to go on. And what it shows is how committed people are to their financial future and committed to the company. And I want to just to share a little bit about my story and about what's going around the world, so you can really see what's there for you, and take whatever you want from what I tell you, and use whatever you want. You don't have to do everything, but use whatever you want. And here's some of the things. I have only done a very few things since I got started in the business, and these are the ones, and I learned them from Mark Hughes. In the beginning, I didn't know anything. I came to that meeting in Australia, and I was just a supervisor, and I was going around, and one thing I learned from Mark Hughes, and write this down: stick around successful people. That's what I did. I met Tish Rasheen, I met Larry Shine, I met, lots of the people who were there, the top people at the time. I remember seeing John and Susan Peterson, and then I went to another meeting in Chicago, in the Airy Crown Theater. There were 10,000 people, and on the weekday, the next day in the training, there were another 10,000 people at the training. I could hardly get a seat. And so I just employed what I did, and these are the only two things I've ever done in the business. Number one, I put people on the products, and number two, I showed people the big picture. Those two things. Number one, put people on the products. Didn't matter whether they were distributors or customers. And number two, showed them the big picture. And the way I did that was by promotion. I promoted the products. So if I get somebody signed up as a distributor, I immediately want to promote the other products, especially the ones they really need. And all to do with promotion is this one thing. Write this down. What you sell, they will buy. If you feel strongly about it, they're going to buy it, whatever it is. If it's using all the product, if it's going to the seminars, whatever it is. But you've got to do it yourself. It's very hard to feel strong about something that you don't do yourself. You're just selling something that you don't do. So I always went to the meetings. I didn't know any other way except something called Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And since none of my friends and family wanted to do the business, and most of them treated me like a leper when I stuck on that lose weight now, ask me how button, and my social life was finished the moment I put on that button in London, I had to find a new social life. I started going to the meetings. And all that I would do, I would go on Tuesday night, I would either go alone or I'd take guests, but mostly I took 3, 4, 5 guests to the meeting. And then what I learned to do was from the Tuesday night, to promote the Thursday night, which was the greatest ever meeting that was going to take place. And on the Thursday night, I learned to promote the Saturday morning, which was the training, which was going to be the most incredible training of all time. And when we got to the training and did the wholesale business and maybe qualified a supervisor that Saturday, all we would do is promote the Tuesday night where we had this special speaker, Joe Tow Truck, whoever it was that was going to speak. And that's what I did over and over again. And I never missed a meeting. And that was something called upfront decision. Write that down, upfront decision. I made an upfront decision because when I found Herbalife, I was about to lose $100,000 in a health club. I'd invested $50,000 and I lost $100,000 with my brother. He wasn't too happy. And no one was going to help me out of my situation. Lived next to Buckingham Palace with a $400,000 mortgage, which became a $500,000 mortgage. Everybody's telling me to sell my home, people giving me good advice but no money, and I made a decision that I was going to at least be consistent about the meetings. And I learned early on that consistency was the key. Write that down. Consistency, whatever you do, doesn't matter what you do it consistently. And the one thing I did consistently was go to the meetings. And I was the first person to arrive at the meetings and the last person to leave. And my people, my distributors, who maybe had not brought guests first time or second time, they watched my income going up, then they watched me get royalty checks, and they started to come to the meetings bringing people. So not only was I spending time with my little group of 3 or 4 or 5 people, but my distributors had 3 or 4. I would give them all my cards. I would always treat everybody in my organization, everybody who was at the meeting, for me was my first line. Made no difference what it was, because I only trusted myself really to look after the people fully, or at least I was going to make the mistakes if there were mistakes to be made. And that's what I did over and over again. I never run an advertisement for the first 9 months. I was very afraid of the telephone, and then finally I started to run advertisements, and it started to go for me, and I started to enjoy the telephone, and I was just consistent with that. And Mark Hughes came to England, and he told us some things, and I don't think I really listened to him the first few times. But then one day I switched on, and I got this thing about promotion, and this is what I learned. Number one, the first thing I learned was your people do what you do. Write that down. Your people do what you do, not what you tell them to do. And Mark started to come out with some qualifications, like the qualifications that he's just come out with. Not as strong as the ones he's just come out with, but he came out with some qualifications. And whatever it was, on the 1st of the month, and here's what you need to know. There's going to be a call tonight, I believe, in America. Mark Hughes is coming out with the new call. You've got to be in on the first day of the month. You know, Larry said we were going to talk about working the month. It's like any of you who play sports or you're involved with games. You can't effectively play the game unless you know the rules of the game. And the game of August, which is starting tonight, it lasts 31 days. We've already had 2 or 3 days, but it lasts 31 days. And you've got to know what the goal is. You've got to know what the game is. So at the first of every single month, you've got to know what the rules of the game are. What are the qualifications, what you've got to do. And by the way, write this down. Nothing exists except the current month. Nothing exists except the month that you're playing at that moment. My personal vision cannot go further than next February. That's as far as it goes, next February. But I play it month by month by month. And by the way, this month is not yet over. You've still got the next 4 or 5 hours there in America to help somebody qualify as supervisor, and I'm going to tell you why they should get to supervisor, so they're effectively supervisors for August the 1st. There's a big reason for them to be there, or for some of you just to get that first 10,000 to understand why. Maybe you're at 5,000 or 6,000 or 7,000 at the moment, and you've got a chance still to get to the 10,000. But I'll cover that a little bit later. But so that's what I did. I only focused, and to this day, I only focus on the current month. That's all I'm interested in. On the 1st of the next month, then I'm focused on that month. It's like playing a round of golf. It's like playing a game of tennis. There's no point thinking about the game after next. You've got to play that particular game. And that's what I've done. And I've just been consistent doing that. And some of my people started to get consistent doing that. And one of them's on the call here, and I may put him on a little bit later because he can share with you some things he learned from me. He's a young student, and by being consistent with the STSs and with some of the other things that have been going on, he's almost got to chairman's class this month, and by the time of the February extravaganza, our 20th anniversary, he'll be at president's team part-time, while he's doing his degree his last year at Columbia University. So everybody can do the business, and that's all I've done. And I feel very strongly about this thing called promotion. Write this down. First of all, you've got to qualify for everything. You've got to try to qualify for everything. You use the products, wear the button, talk to people, and this is the last one. Try to qualify for everything. Don't question it. Don't think about it. There's a whole team of people who set up these qualifications, and the person who has the final say is Mark Hughes himself. And there's only one reason that a promotion is put in place. And a lot of people don't understand this, and I didn't in the beginning. So write it down. The only reason that there is a promotion is one reason and one reason only: to put money in your pocket. To put money in your pocket. And if you try to qualify, and your people try to qualify, that's the name of the game. Did I always make it? No. One of the major qualifications, a beautiful trip on the Windsong, 7 days, 7 nights, arriving at a different island every morning. I failed to qualify for that, and I was really sick, but about 4 months later, I got on the president's team. It's not about whether you qualify or not, it's about whether you try to qualify. And what's very interesting about qualifications is, you see, if you promote these qualifications, you go to the bank. And if you don't promote the qualifications, you don't go to the bank. And one of the things that Jim Rohn taught me some time ago was this: you don't get rich from the people who make it, you get rich from the people who stretch and fail. Now, I didn't understand that in the beginning. I was thinking, how come I don't get rich from the people who make it? You see, I've got certain people in my organization, the moment they hear the qualification, they're going to make it. In fact, I can go and spend the money based on the qualification because I know they're going to make it. But if I can get some of the other people who normally might not go for something to try to get there, they at least end up doing more than they otherwise would have done. So they win, I win, actually everybody wins. And sometimes they actually make it. So you don't just get rich from the people who make it, you get rich from the people who stretch and fail. Especially with this 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 qualification we're going to talk about. A lot of people will make it. Some people won't make it, but they will still do more than they otherwise would have done, which, if you've got a number of people you're promoting to, will take your check up, put you on the GET team, put you on the millionaire team, put you on the president's team. And for many of you on this call who maybe are not yet on the GET team, you've got a chance, if you capitalize on these qualifications that have just been announced, to be financially free by January the 1st, 2000. August, September, October, November, December. 5 months you can be financially free. Because if you really go to town with these qualifications, try to qualify yourself and promote it to other people, you can be, by January the 1st, 2000, on what we call the Global Expansion Team, ready to get your 2% infinite bonus, earning a minimum of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, anywhere up to $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 on the Global Expansion Team. Those of you, of course, are already on the GET team or Millionaire team. You've got a chance to go up to the next level. And I've always been excited about the Herbalife qualifications, and I've played a part in some of them and putting some of them together with Mark. But I've never been so excited as these new qualifications. And just for you to understand them very quickly, this is what they are. Years ago, we used to take some people to Los Angeles. We haven't done that for a long time. And a good friend of mine from Germany, Marcus Lehmann, came up with this idea. And a few of us got around it immediately. And what's happened is that Herbalife are going to find an incredible sum of money to start really what amounts to a Herbalife University. Many people, especially around the world, not just in America, but around the world, whilst they know the Herbalife story and they see the journals and they see the pictures from the magazines and from the marketing plan, they never really get to feel Herbalife, because Herbalife really exists in one place, and that's Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, there are 2 office buildings. There's an office building at Century City. There's the HBN studios, the Herbalife Broadcast Network studios. There's everything. And people, one of the most impactful things that ever happened to me was my tour of the manufacturing facilities and the head offices. I'll never forget the day we put on these little funny hats to keep our hair out of the Formula One, out of the powders, and we went round the manufacturing facilities. I went in the bus, I sat next to Tammy Allen, who's now on the president's team, and then we went over the Herbalife head offices. I sat in Mark Hughes' chair, I met all the staff, I saw the support they were giving us, I saw the computer where our royalty checks came, and if I wasn't herbalized before, I was definitely herbalized after that tour. And that tour now is a more extensive tour, because now we've got the Herbalife Broadcast Network studios, and we've got many more things that people can see. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flying people from all over the world. Herbalife's going to be sending a ticket to get people from all over the world. Imagine getting a ticket if you're from South Africa, and these are your people. People you sign up in Indonesia, people you sign up in Korea. Any of them will get a free ticket to Los Angeles and 3 nights in a hotel. They can extend it into a 6-7 day holiday, and they are going to get completely herbalized. And the first person you want to, and by the way, this qualification extends to anybody on the Global Expansion Team, the Millionaire Team, President's Team. And this is going to happen not once next year, it's going to happen 3 times next year. The second and third time will probably be more regional, but the first time is for everybody. And the first time coincides with our 20th anniversary. February the 1st, 1980, we were born, and Mark Hughes is going to celebrate in the most magnificent style in February. We're going to have a concert. I don't know whether he's going to bring together the Beatles again, or whether it'll be something of that magnitude. If we had Rod Stewart for 2,000 people at the President's Summit a couple of years ago, just imagine what it's going to be this time. And the concert will be a tremendous cost, and so people will be paying for their concert tickets, $30 or $40 or $50 or whatever. But Mark is going to fly over to Los Angeles. Everybody who does 10,000 3 months running, and going to pay 3 nights in the hotel at whatever level they are. If you accumulate 45,000 over any 3 months together, you're going to go to a party at Mark Hughes' house. And until you've been to a party at Mark's house, Mark and Darcy throwing a party at their house, you really haven't been to a party called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I mean, I was at his wedding party, and I never moved from the caviar, the iced caviar room. I mean, it was just the most unbelievable thing. 5 harpists playing while I was eating as much caviar as I wanted in this ice-capade type room. I mean, so it's going to be the party to end all parties. And if you go for it, it'll be the greatest thing that ever happened for you. If you take other people with you, you're going to get rich. And so that is the new qualification. And one thing we're so excited about people getting on board, having just seen, and you want to write this down, we've just seen over 50,000 people at the 4 extravaganzas that have just taken place, that Mark Hughes has been on the road, 50,000 people. We raised over $2.5 million for the Herbalife Family Foundation for the children of the world, in different countries. We're doing a lot. We're putting a lot back. We benefit a lot, so we're putting a lot back. Orphanages in Brazil, Hunger Project, many things around the world. And I'm sure the Herbalife Family Foundation will play a part in the February, the most incredible February thing. But each and every one of you on this call has to say to yourself, I am going to be in Los Angeles to celebrate the 20th anniversary. And for some of you, you've got to say, I'm going to be there with 2 people, 4 people, 10 people, and then you can just write your own check. You can really write your own team that you're going to be on. And the best time to do it is now. And how do you do it? Very simply. You've got some things coming up which you can promote which can take you to where you want to be. Remember what I told you? The only two things I've wanted to do is get people on the products and show them the big picture. What was the best way I could ever show them the big picture? Get them in front of Mark Hughes. And mostly in America, you haven't had Mark Hughes as much as we've had him in Europe and some of the other regions of the world. But for the very first time, for a long time, Mark is about to tour America. And you need to know those dates, you need to know the places, and you need to get as many people in front of him as you can. He's going to be traveling with Shelley Warrington. He's going to be launching on September the 11th in Atlantic City. He's going to be launching the Color Cosmetics, which is going crazy here in Europe, brings a whole bunch of other people into the business, and you really need to be talking to people about the beauty business now. This is the core product in the beauty business, and not just beauticians, but housewives and people who want to have their own beauty business. There's a lot of people who maybe not so strong on nutrition, but they're very excited about beauty. And if you can, get hold of one of these Color Cosmetics bags so you can see and start using and doing all that thing. And it's going to be launched September the 11th in Atlantic City. And then Mark's doing a tour of the USA. He's going to be in October the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 8th, 9th, and 10th at different cities. And to help you get your 10,000, what Mark's going to do is he's doing these meetings for people who do 5,000 in 1 month, including the qualifying volume in a qualifying month. So someone qualifying at 4,000 supervisor, why not go to 5,000 so you can go to your very first school with Mark? And people will, what a great way to start the business within 2 months of the business to be taught by the man himself. And to help you get your 10,000, what Mark's going to do is he's doing these meetings for people who do 5,000 in 1 month, including the qualifying volume in a qualifying month. So someone qualifying at 4,000 supervisor, why not go to 5,000 so you can go to your very first school with Mark? And people will, what a great way to start the business within 2 months of the business to be taught by the man himself. So look up those dates, look up those cities, and all you've got to do for 2 or 3 months, for 3 months running, is to get 2 people to go to one of those schools at 5,000 each, and that's your 10,000. Explain that to some of your people, and they can qualify 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. And if you get 3 people to the school per month, you've got your 15,000 3 months running to take you to the party with Mark Hughes. We've got the same here in Europe. Write this down. Work locally, think nationally. Work locally, think internationally. Work locally, think globally. Mark's going to Korea on September the 18th. He's going to do his first meeting in Sun City in South Africa, October the 16th and 17th. That's going to be open to everybody. He's going to Japan on October the 30th. And here in Europe, we're going to be doing big leadership weekends in Denmark, in Italy, in Frankfurt, and we're just going to be doing them all over. So I'm just giving you that to show you what's happening around the world. Jim Rowan and John Peterson are doing something in Bali in November for all the people from Indonesia and Australia and that area. That's just at about the same time as we open India. Next year we'll be opening other countries. So it's important, even if you don't recruit people outside America, to let people know we're in 45 countries. This is going to be our first $2 billion year, and it's all about your excitement. But listen, I've talked enough. I'm going to close this up in a few seconds. But Larry, if you can put him on, I'd like to just have one person tell you who I've worked closely with, who's on the call, because he's just an incredible story. He's just done his first month millionaire team, but his first month millionaire team has gone way over and almost up to chairman's class, like $6,000-7,000 royalty check. And he's doing the business part-time. He's at Columbia University in his last year, and he's just great. And he's really used this promotion, especially with the STSs. And I'm just, I know what I'm doing. Make sure you put him on if you can. Are you there, Tommy Hay? Tell us when you're on. But One thing I'd like to say, Larry, on this for everybody is, and maybe Bill, you could ask me something as well. I personally like to recruit people in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the month. Find out what people are really going, and the last 8 or 10 days of the month, I like to make sure I'm working with the people who are really doing it to help them break out as supervisors. So I don't do too much recruiting on the last 7, 8, 10 days of the month. That's when I like to chase the business, go into people's homes, meet all their friends, so that they can break out as supervisors in lines of 2 or 3 or 4, that type of thing. But Bill, you got a lot of experience on this. What do you got to say?
I think Bill went on his trip.
I'm on, Larry.
Okay, great.
All right. So Tommy, go for it.
All right.
Were you listening to what I said, Tommy?
Absolutely.
Tell them how you've used that.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction, Alan. I'm extremely excited. I've learned a lot from Alan, and we've been promoting...
Tell them how old you are, Tommy.
What's that?
Tell them how old you are.
I just turned 22 on July 22nd, and I started in the business when I was 17 years old. And I've been working this qualified as supervisor my first month, which was the smartest decision I ever made because it got me committed to the business long enough to get the success going. And, you know, I've just been working this business part-time. I'm a full-time student at Columbia University. And Alan's got me really clued in on the urgency of the impending event. And all I can tell you guys right now is if you've got a Tuesday night meeting tonight, it's like the last meeting in your Herbalife career. Who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? Because your Thursday night is just going to be twice as big because not only will you be bringing people, but now you've got some new people bringing people also. And that's going to work into our Saturday morning meeting this Saturday, and it's going to be the most unbelievable meeting that's ever happened in the history of Elmwood Park, New Jersey.
So how did you get to this $6,000 check?
Well, once Mark laid out the master's plan, I was clear it was as simple as getting 8 people coming with me to L.A. in February. And then this Millionaire Regional School came out, and that just made it twice as easy because for the people that were already in, what we're all going for is the 15. If you miss it, you know, you still got the 10. It's in the bag, and if you're brand new, it's just a question. You need to be at the Millionaire Training Tour because what just happened at where we've banked on the Millionaire Training Tour is just promoting what happened to everyone's business since Expo. Okay, and I've got one guy on the line right now. His last commission check was $200 last month. This month it's going to be $2,500. You know, my group volume has gone from about 60,000 to 125,000 in 3 weeks. And it's no doubt that the Millionaire Training Tour is going to be just as good, if not better than what took place in Orlando. So everyone needs to be there, and if you bring people with you, you've got your February in the bag, and we're just working event to event to event, and, you know, not delaying our businesses 3 or 4 weeks for every STS, but working as many events in to building momentum into each big event. So the first biggest event is our STS this month in August, which is going to get us enough people to the Millionaire Training School, actually the color launch before then, which is going to get us more momentum into the Millionaire School, which is going to get us with 10 or 20 or 30 people in February. So,
so listen, Tommy, one last thing. Before you did that, to get to the 60,000 points, all right, you told me of something about how you made a commitment about how many people you were going to bring to an STS. How did that work for you?
Well, once you...
That taking a stand for having people.
Yeah, I mean, everything you've ever taught me is just a question of throwing a number out there and then finding out how. And I've always committed to have as many people as I possibly could at each STS because that just completely builds the momentum, and I can completely relate my royalty check to the amount of people I have at the school every single month. I saw Jason Fisher out in Long Island. When he was having about 40 people a month at the STS, he hit Millionaire Team. And I saw Frank Petrocelli out in Long Island, and when he was having about 80 or 90 people consistently for 3 months, he hit the President's Team. And what I realized was this system is so exact and so scientific, all I had to do was plug people in, and then it really had absolutely nothing to do with me. But with the whole Herbalife system, the Herbalife products, it just takes us wherever we want to go.
Hey, Tommy, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Alan, and it's just the beginning.
That's great. All right, so listen, I'm excited. All I can tell you is I've just been to the Orlando Expo and I was at the Paris Expo. And something happened to me in Paris. Something happened, maybe as a result of the two expos, where I decided to go back to work. Now, I know that sounds strange, but let me tell you something. Once you get to the Chairman's Club and you've got the sort of royalties and the income and the lifestyle that you can have coming from it, sometimes it's hard to find the thing that's going to get you going in the way that took you there in the first place. But something clicked for me in Paris, and what really clicked was this. It was Orlando and Paris put together. I realized this was just the beginning. This is petty change. This is small time. And Mark has always said it. You know, the first billion was going to be the most difficult. The second, the third, and the fifth, duck soup. And a lot of people turn around to me and say, I wish I'd started when you did. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is the time to start. That's why people are getting to the president's team. It took me 4 years to get to the millionaire team, and then it took me another year to get to the president's team. And that was quite fast at the time, but now there are people getting to the millionaire team and the president's team in 8 months, 18 months, 2 years. By the way, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you know, whether you get there fast or you get there slow, it doesn't matter, so long as you get there in the end. But everything now is in your favor. You know, the two things that I've always had to use, the two things that I've capitalized on are these: inspiration and information, not motivation. You can't motivate anybody. The products motivate people, but you can inspire people. And the way you inspire people is by example. The reason that Tommy's check has gone up, I guarantee, and Larry's and Bill Heron's, it's because of what they do. It's inspiration. They inspire by setting the example. And so inspiration is about what you do, how you look, how you turn up, you know, and just how you are, how you listen, how you care, whether you care more about your customers and distributors than the money going into your pocket. People can tell. And so you can inspire people. But the second thing was always a struggle. It was called information. Inspiration and information. And luckily for you, this is the age of information. This is the age when I don't have to tell my people what's happening around the world. They can plug into the internet, which is going to get better and better. This company, Herbalife, is going to become one of the major players on the internet. We're going to benefit from the internet more than anybody else. And so if you're not already on the internet, and I'm sure most of you are, you need to get on the internet, because all the information is there, all the worldwide information, all the meetings, and you've got it immediately. And that's changed everything for everybody, because now it doesn't matter who your upline is. Your upline is the internet. You've got all the information you can need, and that is an enormous change. And that's really what's allowing us to go now to 2 billion, 3 billion, 5 billion. And I'm looking forward to see you all in America, but for sure I'm looking forward to see you at the 20th anniversary. Look, it's 6 months to go. You've got to include January as well. It's 6 months to go. And 6 months is a very interesting number in Herbalife. John Peterson, the #1 distributor in the world, he really says it best. He believes in 90-day plans. Everything in Herbalife seems to happen 90 days after you get it going. And the ideal is if you can do 2 90-day plans back to back. And what if you decided to do that? What if you put down the phone now and you decided to really move up into another gear, even if you're doing well, to move up into 3rd gear or 4th gear or 5th gear and really give this thing a shot for the next 90 days. And then when you've got to the end of the next 90 days and you've done August, September, and October. You've seen Mark Hughes on the road, and make sure you go to at least one of the cities where he's traveling to with as many people as possible. And after you've done August, September, October, you switch on and you do another 90 days. And you cancel Christmas and the millennium. Sure, you go to the parties, but you take the minimum time out, and then you go November, December, January, and you arrive in Los Angeles, having done two 90-day plans back to back, to the best of your ability, looking in the mirror every night, not looking at what other people are doing, looking at what you're doing, going to bed most nights saying, hey, you know what? This happened and that happened, but I gave it my best shot for 90 days, and then do it for another 90 days, and just committed 6 months of your life now, leading up to the biggest event we've ever done, on the brink of the next millennium, on the brink of the company of the 21st century, and you walk in, you can make the decision now how you're going to walk into Los Angeles. There's not one of you on this line who couldn't walk in as a fully qualified Get Team member. That's for sure, in 6 months. For those of you who are about Get Team, you can be on the Millionaire Team by then. And for those of you on the Millionaire Team, with this momentum, you're definitely going to get around the President's Team by that time. And, if you want to make it really worthwhile for me, and you were on this call, if I don't see you on the road before, you come up to me in Los Angeles in February and say, Alan, I was someone on that call. I just got started. I was just a new supervisor. I just been in for a month, 2 months, and I listened to what you said, and I gave it a shot. And I'm here with my 7 or 8 or 10 people, and I want to take a photo with my group, and I'm on the way to financial freedom now, and then all this will be worthwhile. That's the point. And I must tell you, there's not one time when I say that there aren't people that come up at that event, like the event in Los Angeles. And the only question is, why not you? Why not the person who's listening here? Look, if an overweight guy like Bill Heron, who was sick and tired of another company, all right, which was not as much fun as we are, was willing to give it a shot and take a chance, and someone like Larry was to give it a chance, and if a lawyer like myself, and I wasn't the world's greatest lawyer, and I definitely wasn't the world's greatest businessman, but the most important thing, I wasn't having much fun. I was having fun outside. I feel younger than when I was 35, because about attitude, because about future, and everything like that. And Larry, I want to thank you personally for inviting me on the call, and I'll always be there for you whenever you need me. And think internationally, guys. You want to have an international organization. The question I ask everybody is, where are you from and where do you know people around the world? Build yourself an international organization. And Larry, thank you very much for putting me on the call. If you haven't, don't forget, guys, you've still got 4 or 5 hours till the end of the month. You can still get up to supervisor or get people up to supervisor or up to 10,000. Okay? Larry, thanks for putting me on the call.
Wow, this has been absolutely incredible. And thank you very much, Alan. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. The only thing left to do now is just for everybody to go to work and put all this information into action. Now, I'm going to open up the lines here, and I want everybody to express their appreciation and thank you for Alan. Let him know how excited you are.
Hey, thank you, Alan.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Alan LeMay.
Thanks, Alan.
Wonderful job.
See you in North America. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Tommy, for sharing with us.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.